Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video where we are going to play with those three babies. Sweeties, this is Sydney Grace, my first time with the Sydney Grace, seriously super excited. And Sydney Grace has recently come out with a collaboration collection with Temptalia, and these are the three palettes. Now you probably have seen them on quite a few channels, maybe. If not, then this is what they look like. I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is the Quintessence palette. This is how she looks. Unfortunately, I can always just hold up one at the time. Quintessence palette. In case you want to see flat lace, of course, you will find that on my Leorah Cosmetics Instagram, which is linked in the description box. Okay, so this is the, which one? Radiant Reflection palette. This is how she looks. And then we have the third one, which is the On the Horizon palette, which looks like this. Okay, sweeties, I'm going to also try to swatch them towards the end of the video. I don't know yet how I'm going to do this. It's got to be small swatches, I think, in order to get it all on one arm, but I'm going to try my best. Besides that, of course, if you've just found me, sweetie, hi! Welcome to my channel, and I'm Leorah. I'm a makeup artist and stylist. Welcome to my pajama time later on in the video. After the swatches and the looks that I've already done with the palette, you will see me coming back with my finished look because this is a place of color. For the most part, sometimes I also do a neutral look. Actually, those palettes would be great for neutral looks, just saying. But anyway, we shall talk about all of that later because today I'm going to do my fourth look, and I will of course show you the other three in pictures later on. Alright, so please subscribe to my channel and join the tribe because that would be awesome. Okay, I also should mention that actually two of my besties have collaborated in getting these palettes to me. Oh, and wait, also I should mention that actually these three palettes here are the dark version. Okay, because Sydney Grace came out with those palettes in a lighter version and in a darker version. I personally didn't feel that there was like a super huge difference, but, and of course I'm super light, so I should have probably taken the lighter version, but I wanted the darker version. Just saying. Okay, so this is the darker version in case you do have the light one and you think like, Leorah, why do you have the darker one? It's not because the other thing was sold out or anything, it's because I actually wanted to have the darker version because I like darker colors anyway, as you know. Okay, so sweetie, what I was about to say is that two of my besties paired up to get this for me, and I'm so grateful. One of them, Suzanne, thank you so much. She actually gifted this to me, and Andrea, she did the whole ordering and getting this to me, you know, so they collaborated and gave this to me as a gift, and I'm so blessed because seriously, this is not a cheap collection. It's not, you know. So anyway, so yeah, I would have not gotten this if I would not have had this blessing in my life, you know. So that's why, just super grateful, and big shout outs to my besties. Sweeties, I love you. Okay, so now finally let's get you zoomed in a little bit, and we shall see what we can do today. I have a picture in my head. Don't ask. I have a picture in my head of what I want to do today, and it has to be involving those blue shimmers because they're beautiful blue shimmers. Some of them leaning a little bit more towards the purple, some are true blue, you know, like really cool shades. Thing is though, sometimes what I have in my head doesn't work out in reality. So anyway, we're going to try. Okay, I'm just going to put them all up right here in front of me so I can see what I'm doing because I'm going to jump between the palettes. I also should mention that in each look that I did with those palettes, I did that. I did not go palette by palette because I do believe that the best results and the best, I don't know, the best looks are if you combine them. Just saying. Okay, now I'm going to try to show you which palette I'm using for which shade and all of that. So anyway, I'm just looking down because I'm trying to figure out how to start this look. Okay, sweetie, yeah, you're welcome. This is a hot mess, but I hope that we're gonna have good results. Okay. So I think what I'm trying to do is kind of a dark, sexy look, you know, and for that I think I want to go in with kind of a transition shade. Now I wish I would have something that is a little bit lighter, But even in the lighter version, there would not have been a matte that serves me for that purpose. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, in the absence of a lighter blue, I'm going to go in this green, which is from the On the Horizon palette, the shade Desert Spoon. Desert Spoon. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a transition shade, kinda. Okay, and I'm just going to dab this on right here. Don't ask. This has to do with something being in my head, you know, so I'm going to try this. All right, so anyway, I'm going to dab this on first of all, and maybe I'm going to build it up a tiny little bit still. And then I'm already going to go into the next shade. I don't want to like set more of my eyeshadow primer, but I'm just sort of like smudging it out. Whatever I placed by dabbing it on, I'm kind of smudging it out. And I hope that will help me, because I want to go in with like seriously dark mattes now. Okay, so anyway, just so we have some kind of a transition shade, even though I realize that a green is not necessarily usually a transition shade. But anyway, all right, sweetie, I'm gonna go in, once I find the right brush, I'm gonna go in with the same palette, and I'm going to use the shade Midnight Courage, which is a super dark blue. Okay, so, and I'm going to basically place this right underneath, like in the crease, and I'm gonna try to blend this out. I also should say that I'm using the Sigma eyeshadow primer, and for the first and the second look I have done that too. And actually for my look that I did on my yesterday, which was the third look, I actually used for the very first time the ABH eyeshadow primer. I just wanted to use it for the first time when I'm off camera, and it worked really well, honestly. It was the neutral look that you're going to see then, of course, towards the end. Okay, so I'm going to back this up a little bit and make it a little bit more prominent. All right, and while I'm doing what I'm doing, of course, I'm going to tell you something, okay? So, this is something that happened, for me, it's just a couple of days ago, so, but never mind, because it all depends when you're seeing this, but a couple of days ago, my husband and I had decided to take the kids out for dinner. Now, we had original plans, and then we had to actually go to plan B because my husband was stuck in his work and he couldn't get away, and it got too late, and because of some of my kids still being quite small, we cannot go out like super late, you know, because we're also very I don't want to say strict necessarily, but we are very reasonable, you know, to connect the age of our children to their bedtimes. Let's put it that way, because especially when you live where I live, which is in the Middle East, there are kids out you would not believe, like beyond midnight, you know, especially of course in the summer, because this is basically the time when it is pleasant outside, you know. Anyway, so we've never been like this. We're both very, you know, we're not like that, let's put it that way. Okay, so we went out, and our plan B was just to go to a shopping mall, a local shopping mall, and get burgers. All right, I'm switching to the palette, to the Quintessence palette, and I'm going to use the black. This is the shade Umbra, and I told you this is going to be probably like dark and sexy. That is the goal, okay? So another brush, and I'm going to place this in the outer corner right here, like that. And of course, yeah, I'm going to still blend right now. I'm just basically placing and kind of pushing them into each other, but mostly just that, just placement of the shades, so I see how it looks and how I can develop the look further, okay? All right, so that's what we did. We went to a local shopping mall, and we, as of right now here in my country, we still have basically the mandatory masks, mandatory mask wearing, don't know if that's the right way in English to say it, inside closed buildings. So this is an indoor shopping mall, so basically, yeah, we had to wear masks. I was actually really shocked how many people are then basically taking them off once they're inside and have passed the guy at the entrance who checks. But yeah, that is a different story. Okay, so then we basically took the kids inside. I'm gonna go back into that green matte, just a tiny little bit, and yes, I'm blowing on my brush. If you don't know why that is funny, it is one of my recent videos where I spoke about that. Alright, so anyway, we took them to the food court and we ordered whatever we wanted, and of course I'm not eating in places like this because I don't eat junk food or fast food or anything like that. So basically when my family and I are going out, it is them eating and Leorah sits there and watches them, okay, which is extremely hard. And at some point when they all had their chicken wings and their french fries and their burgers and their whatever they had ordered, onion rings, and oh my god, like really, I just see like calorie counts everywhere, you know. Like, ooh. Anyway, I just said to my husband, okay, now everybody has their food. I'm going to step away now because it's too hard. It is too hard, okay? So I said, so I'm just going to go, this is, by the way, my bone color mat, okay? I'm just going to go a few meters and just step away and look what is in the stores. Okay, which is obviously always a very, very dangerous situation for someone who likes shopping like I do. But anyway, I did, and the store where I actually wanted to go, where they used to have like super nice headscarves and stuff like that, had closed and probably did not survive COVID, or for whatever reason they had closed, and there was another store there suddenly, and I was like, wow, how long have I not been here? Like, when did that happen? You know, because last time it was still there. All right, so, and then a couple stores down the hallway was a Kiko Milano store, or still is. And I thought like, okay, because I'm always looking for nice brow products there. Doesn't matter what I was looking for. I went in there and I started to browse around and look around, and sales lady came up to me and asked me if I need help. I said definitely not, but thank you so much. And because I just want to do this on my own, you know what I mean? And I find it like almost an intrusion into my privacy if like I get bombarded with people suggesting stuff to me, you know, like, yeah. Okay, let's go into, which palette is this? This is the Radiant Reflection palette. I'm gonna go in with this beautiful light blue shimmer. And I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to use a round crease brush instead of a packing brush. And I'm going to like place it and already sort of smudge it out with that brush, and later on I'm going to then also apply it with my finger, but for now I just want to have the nice blend upwards, you know what I mean? But even so, even with a brush like this, and I don't think that this is usually the brush that is the perfect brush for shimmer shades, but for this placement here, for the blending and everything, and also considering the consistency of these shimmer shades, I think it is really nice because you get the perfect blend without anything, you know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, yeah. I was actually also on that day wearing my first look with those palettes, you know? Yeah, but anyway, so I was there and then just minding my own business, and then I felt like people were whispering behind me, people were talking, and then at some point someone asked me if I could please turn around, and I turned around and there were, I want to say 5 or 6 people standing there like in a half circle around me, and we were like, wow, did you do this makeup, and did you do this, and whatever, you know? And it was like, what is happening? Okay, wait, let's go in with the next shade, and I think I'm gonna go into, which one should I take? Maybe Celestial Bloom. This is from the Quintessence palette, this one. Okay, and again I'm going to take a rounded crease brush for this purpose, and this one has a bit of a purple undertone, if you ask me. Like, it is a blue, but it is like very purpley. I might actually place something between those two, so I'm going to leave a gap here for a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so anyway, people asked me, did you do this makeup? How long does it take? What did you use? This and that, and you know, and so many questions. And then people were taking out their telephones and taking pictures, and more people came because, you know, when you see a crowd of people, you want to join, right? So yeah, so people took out their cameras, and it was I was like, what? I don't know what's happening right now, but yeah. Okay, so let us put in, from the same palette, I'm going to go in with this shade, which also actually has a purple undertone, which is the shade Aurora. And do I have another rounded crease brush? Send help, I don't know. I really don't. You know what? I'm just going to take a packing brush because I can always blend it out with one of my other brushes. Alright, so anyway, it was terrifying. Sweeties, it was really, really terrifying because these people came super close because of course it's not like they want to see my outfit, or well, maybe they wanted to, but they want to see your makeup, so they get right into your face. And also, when you live in the Middle East, people they just don't know about personal space and like invasion of privacy. There's no such thing, you know. So anyway, that was, I don't know, I couldn't really grasp what was happening, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna go in the first blue again and kind of just blend these three shades into each other, and I'm also using this lightest blue here from the inside to just sort of blend out towards the top here. Anyway, and I was like, wow. And my husband sits at the food court, he's eating with all the kids, and I'm here like, and nobody knows what's happening, you know. What if something happens to me? Like, nobody knows, you know. Anyway, the sales girls were shooting daggers at me because I took the attention away from them, and I was like, oh no. Then people asked me actually if I can right now do their makeup in the store using the products of the store, and I'm like, I cannot do that. I'm sure that is not allowed. I don't work here, you know. And anyway, it was kind of hilarious when I think about it now, but I have to say that I was completely overwhelmed at the moment, definitely, because, you know, that was crazy. But the craziest thing was that actually I was standing there with my mask, so the people could only see my eyes, which looked nice enough for me, you know. But I mean, I have never seen anyone in my country who does eyes like I do, but I don't know, you know, because I also don't go out like all the time and see everybody who's out there. But I can see that people are excited about it because they don't see that everywhere, you know. I think in America, I think people are maybe a little bit more experienced, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, seeing people being different and being like colorful and out there. But here it's not that. Clothing, yes, but makeup, absolutely not. Like, even the makeup artists are super minimalist when it comes to makeup in the sense of color, you know. So anyway, that was that. So I do get it, you know. But anyway, so I was wearing my mask, I was standing there, I was trying to like remain friendly and not panic. But then there was this one woman who was right in front of me with her camera, and she just reached into my face and pulled down my mask. And I was like, excuse me? What? I cannot believe what you just did. And she said, but I want to see the whole beauty, which is so cute and so sweet, actually, when you think about it. But can you just imagine the invasion of my privacy, and also, of course, of potential health risks and stuff like that, you know? I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here, you know? And actually I did. I just kind of stepped away and I said, okay, thank you. The show is over. We're moving on. And I then super fast went back to my husband. Now, this whole story took maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that. And by that time, most of my kids had finished eating and had gotten up and were running around. So basically only my husband was still sitting there with all the trays of the children, and he was still finishing up eating. And I was like, sweetie, you don't know what just happened. And he was like, what? And I said, people just went crazy about my makeup. And he was like, what about it? And that was the funniest thing in the evening, because for him, it's like, you know, I had the, you're gonna see it. It's gonna be one of those crazy looks. You're gonna see it towards the end of the video. But anyway, that was so funny, because for him, it's like, it's nothing new, you know, it's nothing new. It's just part of me, and he always sees me like this, and it's like, whatever, you know. it was like, what about it? While like 1 minute before that, people were like wanted to have autographs and wanted to, you know, take pictures with me. And I don't know. I was like, this is really, really insane. Yeah, this is like two crazy. How does one say that? Polar opposites. You know, people going super crazy and my husband being super relaxed. And I was like, okay, so where do I fit in? What do I choose now? But anyway, so this is basically the look. I'm going to still fine tune here a little bit and whatever, but I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to finish the look. You're going to see all the other looks that I've done with the palette. And the first one you'll see is the one that I wore on that day. Okay, so you just get an impression why people went that crazy. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you're welcome, Sydney Grace. Anyway, so that is that. Then you'll see the swatches. Hopefully somehow I will manage to put them all on one arm, and then we're going to meet here for the finished styling and the finished look and my review of those palettes. Okay, so I'll see you here in just a second. Okay, my lovelies, here we are with the finished look and the finished styling, and you just saw, of course, the other 3 looks and the swatches that I still have here. And again, I miscalculated. I always do. I either start too low or I start too high up, but I actually managed super well to get all of this on one arm, and I could even have placed it down to a better place, but you know, it is what it is. But I think it is very helpful to actually see all of the colors on one arm next to each other, then palette by palette. You know what I mean? I think it is super nice like that. You can see everything you're getting. You know. Okay, so let's also zoom you in so you can see how I finished the look, and in a second I'm going to of course tell you what I did. All right, so I think that this is very close to what I had in my head in the beginning when I had this idea of how the look should turn out. And yeah, so this is basically it. I should also tell you that the eyeliners, the winged liners of the first 2 looks that you just saw were also done with shades of the palette. Once it was a very dark blue, and for the first look I do believe it was one of the red shades. So for the third look and for today's look I just used my normal black gel eyeliner. Of course, everything that I have on my face is listed in the description box in case you're interested. Okay, sweeties, here you do have the swatches of the Quintessence palette, then in the middle you have the On the Horizons palette, and then you do have the Radiant Reflection palette. Okay, I have my thoughts about these palettes. I think it took me, first of all, it took me some time to get into them and to kind of figure out how they work, how they want to be handled, you know, but that is something that I always have when I have never worked with a brand. So that is nothing unusual, or it doesn't really tell me anything about the brand or the performance, because that is just something that is very, I don't know, that's just me, you know? So that is that. But I have my thoughts about the palette and I'm going to tell you about it in just a second. I just want to quickly tell you how I finished the look. Now I do have a dark blue on my waterline, and then let me just open all the palettes up so I can show you the shades that I actually then used. Okay, I used this green shimmer here for the inner part right here, and then I used this blue for the outer part right here, and I blended it out with the green, and then at the super outer part, this kind of a wing, I actually used this one in the same palette right next to it. That is what I used, and then close to the waterline I just used the black and pushed the black in a little bit, you know. And then of course for the inner corner I have this one. So this is what I did to finish the look. Okay, sweeties, of course you do not have to buy them in a bundle. If you want to get them, you can also buy them separately. Look at me, I'm such a mess. But anyway, you can also get them separately. If you are a color lover, I think this palette here is the one that I would choose. you know, and that is the Radiant Reflection palette. The other two are also really beautiful, but they are more neutral, if you ask me. Okay, there is of course an idea behind the creation of a palette, and I'm not in Temptalia's head to judge is this a good thing or not, you know, because it is not my collaboration, it is not what I created, and I find it extremely hard to judge the creative spirit of someone else, and I think it's really unfair to judge it, you know. So I'm going to not judge it. Would I have executed the palettes differently according to also like the outer color scheme? Yes, I would. And I also have to say that the mattes in the palette gave me a bit of a something to work with, because maybe you have noticed that people who post looks are usually, or for the most part, posting all shimmer looks. That is because the spectacular part of those palettes are definitely the shimmers. Now the biggest part of those palettes are shimmers, which is great. These palettes perform super good. You know, the shimmers are probably among the best, if not the super best in my collection. They are stunning, absolutely stunning, no complaints. I would probably have gone all across the field with the colors, but that is me, you know. So again, there is no judgment there. That is not my place to judge. But sweeties, the mattes were a bit of a challenge for me, not because they didn't work. Well, first of all, I needed to work myself into the palette and how to work with them, what I already said. But besides that, I felt that the matte colors were also very muted, you know, and I'm going to show you. Okay, because for example, in this palette, this is the Quintessence palette. So you have the black, you have this teal, then you have gray, and then you have like a taupe brown, you know? All of the mattes here are super muted. Then in the next palette, you have this green here. Also, this green is not a bright green. It is a muted green. Then you do have this brown, then you do have this dark blue, and you do have this brown, you know? So it's very quiet shades, if you ask me. But that again is not necessarily a judgment. It is what Temptalia saw in what she wanted to create. Just I think that you need to know that if you want to create looks including the mattes, which I made a point of doing, because I said no, it is super easy to create all shimmer looks with these palettes, but I don't want to do that because that is not my makeup style, and I want to stay true to myself because I know that I feel best when I include the mattes, and I also kind of want to include them because this is how the palettes were created, you know. So here you do have like a dark red wine kind of a shade, and then you do have this here and this here. So I think, according to my makeup taste, the mattes are a little bit too muted for me. Can one still create amazing looks? Well, I think yes, you know. But as for someone who is like me, who is like all over the place with colors and super comfortable with like super bright colors, it was a bit of a challenge for me to work with this in the beginning. So again, I always need some time to work myself into a collection or into a palette, and that's why it was very good that I actually did 4 looks with this instead of just filming a first impression and call it a day. You know, I think that's fair to the brand. And it's also fair to you who want to see my opinion of what I think about the palettes, okay? Now again, I used them all together, whatever I felt. I never went palette by palette, which I think makes the most sense in this collection, but you gotta choose for yourself what is the best for you. I think the shimmers are definitely the star of the show. They were absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful, absolutely no problem. Everything swatched well. Also the mattes swatched well. They also performed well. It was just color scheme-wise maybe a little bit too muted for me, okay? But not everything always has to be super bright, you know, because also this is part of me, you know? I'm not just the person who is super bold and super bright. I can also go super neutral and feel super happy about it, you know? I'm not stuck in that one corner at all, but I definitely have preferences, you know? But performance-wise, if that is the question, everything worked really well. And again, I also tried it on 2 different primers. I tried it on the one from Sigma and on the one from ABH, and on both it worked super well and I have absolutely no complaints. Also, the shades that I used for creating liners, I mixed them with a mixing fluid. I used Duraline, and also that worked super well. They just performed all around super well. So I also did not encounter any staining. I didn't have any creasing. I didn't have any like super crazy fallout during the day or anything while applying. Yes, but for me it wasn't super crazy, but there was fallout, and that is also not a problem because obviously I do my face last. But besides that, I did not have anything where I would say, boy, that was not good, you know? So I really liked it. Also, the buildability was really nice. The blendability was really nice. So I basically really have no complaints. Everything what I just said is really a matter of personal taste, personal style, and the creativity of the people who created this palette or this collection, you know? So that is that. I'm glad that I have them. It is a super nice addition to my collection. It is a beautiful experience to know finally how Sydney Gray's shades work, because I have heard people gushing about them for a long time, ever since I started to watch like colorful YouTube makeup creators, you know, and that is something that I've always wanted to try, and I finally got to try Sydney Gray's, and I'm super happy, especially about the shimmer shades, because they rock. They absolutely rock. Now, I have not tried Cleonad or like, you know, stuff like that, so I don't know how it compares to that, but from what I have and from what I know, these are really stunning, you know? Yeah, so I think you can also, of course, see it in the swatches. This is like, I didn't have to sit here and build up forever. This went super fast, you know? And that is so cool. And this is on a bare arm. As always, in case you're new here and you don't know, I only exclusively swatch on a bare arm. And I think, considering that, like seriously, also the mattes, everything is just really pretty. Okay, so basically it just boils down to what your color preferences are. But again, I want to just thank my besties, especially Suzanne, who of course bought this for me, and Andrea, thank you so much for being the person who just tries to snag the new releases for me, which is just amazing, because I cannot, like, mental health wise, I cannot take the pressure. I cannot, you know, sit there and try to be one of the people who gets this. I cannot, you know, sorry, I just almost knocked down my basket here. Okay, sweeties, that is it for today. I hope this was helpful. If you were maybe thinking about getting those, or once they restock, because I think certain things are sold out by now, at least right now when I'm filming this, maybe you want to have it on your to-do list to check out later or something. I hope this was helpful for you. For me, it was a really good experience, and I'm glad that I did a couple of looks in order to really get into it, because I really enjoyed it. And even now, certain shades that I have not used on my face yet, but now while swatching, I was like, wow, I didn't know that this would look so beautiful. Because sometimes it's really like that you underestimate shades in the palette, and then you see it on your skin and it's like, wow, you know? So by all means, go and play with your makeup, or if you have this, go and play and dig into it and create a lot of looks in order to get like the most out of it, you know, because that's just what makes sense. Okay, sweeties, as I already told you, you will find all my links for my social media in the description box down below, together with my discount codes for different brands, and of course my makeup, everything that I have on my face. Besides that, of course, leave me your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you here as part of my beauty tribe. And up until next time, which is going to be super soon, hugs and kisses, sweeties. Bye.